What would become of your life? What might it finally resemble if fear had no more say? Not silenced for a moment, not bargained with, not subdued or temporarily calmed, but eradicated, obliterated, laid to rest. Imagine rising each morning without hesitation, without that cruel second guessing that strangles your intentions before they are born. Imagine no longer hearing that old whisper inside, telling you that you are not ready, not worthy, not enough. What choices would you finally make? Which doors, long shut, would you burst open? What long buried dream would you chase with that fire you've tried for years to contain? Because here lies the truth, stripped bare. Fear is not your greatest enemy. Your surrender to it is. Fear is ancient. It is woven into the fibers of our being, a remnant from the days when survival meant staying hidden. Fear whispers, fear warns, but it only wins when you obey. Every time you shrink instead of speak, every time you stall instead of stride forward, you surrender your power for a moment of comfort. You trade the thrill of growth for the illusion of safety. You hold your breath and stand still, not because you lack strength, but because fear has trained you to believe that stillness means survival. But not today. Today we pull fear into the light and unmask it for what it is: a ghost, a fable, a shadow dressed in drama pretending to be real. And today we lay it down, not with hollow affirmations or shallow encouragements, but with truth, with discipline, with the fire of a purpose so vast it burns your excuses into ash. In the next few minutes, I will not show you how to escape fear. I will show you how to confront it. You will learn to move before the doubt has time to root itself. You will train your spirit to rise, even as your hands tremble. And you will build a mind so sharp, so fortified with clarity and conviction that fear no longer has a place to hide. So breathe deep, step forward, and for once in your life, do not look back, because this is the hour you kill the fear. Let us set the record straight. Fear was never your foe. Fear is instinct. It is ancient. It resides in the oldest part of your mind, and it was crafted to preserve your life, not to govern it. In truth, fear has saved you many times. It has pulled you back from cliffs, both real and imagined. But fear was never intended to lead. It was not made to be your master. Yet how many today have handed it the reins? They let fear drive the carriage of their destiny, then wonder why they go in circles, why nothing ever changes. Fear arises when the unknown stands before you, when something threatens your comfort, your illusion of control. That's not weakness, that's biology. But mark my words, the true adversary is not the fear itself. It is the pause you take because of it. It is the silence you choose instead of speaking your truth. It is the dream you abandon for a more convenient day that never comes. Most are waiting for fear to vanish before they take the leap. They wait to feel brave, to feel certain. But that hour does not strike, because courage is not born of absence. Courage is action in spite of fear. And if you wait to feel ready, you may as well wait forever. Those who shift the world, who build bridges between what is and what could be, they too have known fear, but they marched through it. That is the difference. That is the edge. You don't need to be fearless. You simply need to stop treating fear like it is a royal decree. Let it sit in the passenger's seat if it must, but it shall never again lay hands on the wheel. And here lies your power. The more you confront fear, the smaller it becomes. Every time you move while afraid, you send a message to your own mind. Fear does not mean stop. Fear means this matters. Fear means step forward. And as you do, over and over, you forge something fear cannot live inside. You become the one who moves first, who acts before fear roots itself. You train your instincts to strike with purpose, not to freeze with doubt. So the next time that tightness grips your chest, don't wait to feel different. Just move, because fear, like a flame without oxygen, cannot survive your momentum. And every forward step you take, even trembling, is one more nail in its coffin. Fear is a master craftsman of illusion. It weaves stories, elaborate, convincing, dangerous, and the most perilous tales it tells are not about the world, but about you. It whispers with the voice of your own mind, "You are not prepared. You are not good enough. You will stumble. They will laugh. You will fall and never rise again." And because the voice resembles your own, you believe it, not because it is true, but because it is familiar. That is fear's oldest trick, to masquerade as truth by way of repetition, to echo the same lie so many times that your nervous system mistakes it for fact. You don't merely worry about failing, you see the failure unfold, vividly, like a scene in a moving picture. You don't simply fear rejection, you relive humiliation, abandonment, disgrace. And in this loop of imagined disaster, your body begins to obey. The heart quickens, the breath shortens, the muscles tighten. You are no longer in the present. You are captive inside a future that does not yet exist. And from that place, even a single step forward feels insurmountable. But here is the revelation that cracks the illusion. If repetition creates fear, then repetition can also create power. If fear is a story, then so is confidence. And you, my friend, are the storyteller. You can write a different tale, one in which you rise instead of retreat, one in which you speak and are heard, one in which you stumble, yes, but stand again, stronger, sharper, because the mind does not distinguish between imagination and memory. If you can envision defeat, you can also rehearse triumph. If you can anticipate disaster, you can visualize victory. This is the battlefield, not out there, but within. And the moment you stop reciting fear's script and begin composing your own, you reclaim the pen. You need not feel brave to act brave. You need not be certain to move forward. You simply must refuse to grant fear the microphone any longer, because that voice in your head, it is not always honest. And the greatest lie it tells is this, that fear is the boundary of your life. It is not. It is the signal that you are standing on the edge of something that matters. And what happens next, that belongs to you. Fear feeds on silence. It grows in the shadows of hesitation. It gains strength not with time, but with avoidance. You cannot outwait fear. You cannot outthink it, bargain with it, or distract it into silence. Because fear does not vanish. It is dismantled, not with comfort, but with exposure. Here is where most lose the battle. They wait for courage to arrive as if it were a train on schedule. They wait for the fear to fade before they make the move. But courage, my friend, does not precede action. It is born from it. Picture yourself standing at the edge of icy water. You dip your toe in, retreat, return, hesitate, and still it terrifies you. But leap just once and your body adjusts. The fear, exaggerated by your mind, collapses in seconds. That is the power of exposure, not recklessness, willingness, a willingness to feel the sting of discomfort, to face the unknown with open eyes and a steady breath. This is how you slay the beast. You enter the room where fear lives. You sit in its presence until its voice grows quiet. You do not flee. You practice. Speak when your voice trembles. Act when your hands shake. Begin, even if the path is unclear. Because repetition, real lived repetition, rewires reality. The first time feels like death. The 10th is clumsy. The 100th is freedom. Those you admire, the speakers, the pioneers, the champions, they did not begin as fearless. They began as you are now, shaking, sweating, uncertain. But they stayed. They returned. And each time they stood in the fire, they burned away a layer of fear until none remained. The truth is this. Fear may never vanish entirely, but when you face it often enough, its roar becomes a whisper. You stop reacting to it. You stop obeying it, because now you know its shape. You've heard its lies before, and you have outlasted them. The only path out is through the shaking, through the resistance, through the storm. And on the other side, the life that once belonged only to your imagination. If you wish to slay fear once and for all, you must strike at its root. And that root is not the world, it is your own mind. Fear does not begin in the noise around you. It is born in the silence within. It is shaped not by facts, but by thoughts, by whispers you rehearse in private, by visions of failure, of danger, of disgrace, played over and over until fiction becomes conviction. You see, your mind is always telling stories, some noble, some devastating. And if you do not train those stories, they will train you. Left to itself, the mind becomes a battleground where fear holds dominion, not because fear is strong, but because your discipline has fallen asleep at the gate. You are not here to be a servant of that voice. You are here to reclaim the throne, to take back the pen, to write a new decree. And it begins with this unshakable truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer. You are the builder, the master of your inner world, the one who decides what may remain and what must be cast into the fire. So when fear hisses, you are not ready, you do not accept it as gospel, you question it. You challenge it. You say, according to whom? When it warns, you will fail, you do not retreat. You say, perhaps, but I shall rise. This is not delusion, it is discipline. It is the training of the mind, not with empty hope, but with repeated, deliberate, commanding thought. Because every thought is a seed, and what you water grows. If you water fear, you will harvest hesitation. But if you water boldness, if you flood your mind with clarity, purpose, and unwavering self-respect, then boldness becomes your natural state. And understand this. This is not about blind optimism. This is not about chanting hollow phrases. This is war. It is the same war the athlete faces before the whistle blows. The same war the soldier confronts before battle. It is the war within. And it is won not with feelings, but with ritual, with words spoken aloud, with visions held firm, with actions that shape the man you are becoming. I remain calm in adversity. I move forward even when fear speaks. I do not shrink. I expand. These are not mere declarations. They are commands, and your deeper mind obeys them. Every time you speak them and live them, you are made anew. You become the one who does hard things. You become the one who no longer flinches. And as your steps align with your convictions, your mind takes notice. It says, we do not retreat anymore. We do not bow. We advance. This is how fear dies. Not with time, not with comfort, but with command. You are not weak for having fear, but you remain weak if you allow it to lead. The mind, like a wild stallion, must be harnessed, trained through repetition, steadied by structure. When you master the inner world, the outer world begins to shift to meet it. So guard your thoughts like treasure. Do not let old lies walk freely through your halls. Challenge them, strip them of their titles, replace them with truth, earned, not imagined. Remember this, fear may knock, but it cannot enter unless you open the door. And each time you answer its voice, you hand it the key to your direction. So ask yourself, day by day, moment by moment, am I being trained by fear, or am I training myself to walk through it? Because make no mistake, there is always a choice. And the life you're living now is the sum of the choices you've made in the presence of fear. Now imagine just for a moment what would become possible if you treated fear not as a stop sign, but as a signal. What if the very thing you've been avoiding was the thing you were meant to pursue? You see, fear often masquerades as wisdom. It says, don't go there, don't speak, don't risk, stay where it's safe. But in truth, fear is a compass. It points toward the very edge of your comfort, the border where your growth begins. That fire in your chest, that trembling in your fingers, that is not weakness. That is your soul alerting you. Here lies something that matters, because the things that shake you are the very things that shape you. The speech you fear to give, the business you delay to launch, the boundary you hesitate to set. These are not dangers, they are doorways. And they do not open with perfection, they open with movement. So take the step, make the call, speak the truth, say yes, say no. Say the thing that scares you most, and in that act, however small, you will feel something shift, a click, a spark. Because fear does not know what to do when you walk toward it. It is built to stop you, not to stand against you. And once you stop backing down, it begins to fall apart. Let it burn. Let it sharpen you. Let it purify your path. That resistance you feel, it means you're close, closer than ever before, close to your calling, close to your next chapter, close to the self you've only glimpsed in dreams. Here is the truth no one wants to hear. You will not become fearless by waiting to feel brave. You cannot kill fear with feelings. You kill fear with discipline. Motivation is a spark, bright, thrilling, but fleeting. It visits when it pleases and leaves without warning. Discipline is different. Discipline is the steady flame. It does not wait for permission. It does not rise and fall with your emotions. It decides. It shows up when you do not want to. It acts not because it feels good, but because it was commanded. That is where the fearless are born. Not in moments of lightning, but in quiet repetitions, in daily decisions to rise when comfort calls you to remain, in choosing action when the voice of doubt rings loudest. The great ones, the unshakable, the resolute, they do not wait for confidence. They act, and confidence follows. They do not wait for fear to disappear. They move anyway, and fear learns it no longer belongs there. You see, discipline silences fear because it removes the debate. There is no should I, there is only it is time. The alarm rings, you rise. The task is heavy, you lift. The voice trembles, you speak. That is the way. The more you act while fear watches, the more you train your mind to recognize truth. Fear is not danger, it is a signal. And a signal does not rule you, it reminds you to rise. So ask yourself now, are you living by feeling or by principle? If fear is still holding the map, then it is time to seize your path once more. And how do you begin? With the ordinary. Build daily rituals that fortify your mind. Surround yourself with visions that awaken your strength. Keep your word to yourself, even when no one is watching. One small act of courage, every single day, and soon you will wake to find that the mountain no longer frightens you. You are the mountain, and fear now trembles at the sound of your name. Discipline makes you consistent, and consistency makes you inevitable. Now picture this. You lie upon your deathbed. The room is still, the light has dimmed, and the air hangs heavy with finality. But around you, silent and unmoving, stand shadows. They are not strangers. They are the versions of you that never came to be. The one who spoke with fire, the one who led with courage, the one who dared to act, to build, to rise. They are the dreams you left unfulfilled, the risks you postponed, the battles you avoided. And they do not point fingers, they do not weep. They ask you only this: why did you let fear decide for you? Because fear does not merely rob you of moments, it robs you of the man you might have become. It convinces you to step aside when you were born to stand tall, to seek comfort when you were destined for conquest, to hold your tongue when your words might have shaken the world. And for what? A fragile sense of safety, a life of quiet repetition, the approval of those who never sought more than familiarity? Let me speak plainly. No statue is raised for the one who remained silent. No song is sung for the soul who chose the easy path. The world remembers those who acted in spite of fear. So you must decide, will your life whisper of missed chances and silent regrets, or will it thunder with the legacy of one who chose purpose over paralysis? You do not need to see every step. You need only to take the first, and to deny fear the right to speak on your behalf, because your legacy is being written either way, and only one version ends with you truly free. If fear is a liar, then your daily actions must become your proof, because it is not a single act of bravery that changes a man. It is the habit of courage, lived again and again. The fearless are not born, they are built, not in moments of glory, but in the quiet hours, through repetition, through choice. They rise each day with discipline that strips fear of its power before it can speak. So begin here, not with greatness, but with what lies within reach. First, do something uncomfortable. Each morning, not reckless, simply real. A cold shower, an honest word, a duty you have long delayed. Why? Because the nervous system must be trained. The body must learn that discomfort is not destruction, it is awakening. Second, move your body, lift, walk, stretch, move. Because fear grows in stillness and motion breaks its grip. A body in motion clears the fog of hesitation. It restores energy. It prepares the mind for command. Third, speak strength aloud, not empty flattery, declarations of truth. Stand tall and say, I am not governed by fear. I act with resolve. I do not shrink, I expand. Say it and then prove it, each morning, without fail. Fourth, claim an early victory. Make your bed, keep your word, finish the task you'd rather avoid. These are not chores, they are signals to the mind. We are not the same as we were. We follow through. We rise. And lastly, reflect each night, not to judge, but to refine. Ask yourself, where did fear speak today? And where did I rise above it? This is how you sharpen the edge. This is how you become unshakable, not by avoiding fear, but by standing in its presence until it is the one that retreats before you ever do. The fearless life is no accident. It is forged with intention, with repetition, and with unwavering self-respect. If you desire to slay fear, do not wait to feel brave. Build it, train it, prove it, one bold act at a time. Today we do not speak of fear. We bury it, not with comfort, not with illusion, but with this eternal truth. Fear dies when you stop obeying it, when you stop kneeling before it, when you realize it held only the power you allowed it to have. And now you take that power back. No more waiting, no more shrinking, no more reshaping yourself to fit the fears of others or the doubts of your past. You were not born to walk softly through life. You were not made to bow your head and remain silent. You were built to walk through fire and emerge tempered. So, this is the moment. Not tomorrow, not when the stars align, now. Now, you lay fear to rest. You silence the doubt. You take the first step, and then another, and another, until hesitation no longer has a home in your soul. And when fear returns, as it surely will, you will not tremble. You will not listen. You will stand. Because now you know. You have seen fear's face. You have named it. You have pressed forward regardless. Fear no longer speaks for your future. Only your vision does. Only your mission does. So stand tall, straighten your back, lift your eyes, look fear in the face one final time. Say, I thank you for the fire, for the clarity, for the strength you revealed within me. But I no longer follow you. You do not choose who I become. That choice is mine. This is your hour. You are fearless because you chose to be. But let this be clear. This is only the beginning. In the chapter ahead, we go further. We do not speak of confidence. We build it, not with theory, with daily action. You have buried the fear. Now it is time to forge the warrior.